My name is Paul Jung Bae. I work at J Partners and Architects based on Seoul. We do high-end residential and museums, many types of projects. For me, architecture design means something that when it's done, it will improve users' life. This is Dosan Boulevard. All the buildings that are worked on is located in Gangnam. And then even within Gangnam, there's an area called Cheongdam. This is near Cheongdam. The unit itself is very small. It's a studio unit. There's 3 units facing the road. One unit consists of 3 windows. This is where so-called high-end residential start taking off in Korea. Before, there weren't many residential types in Korea. It's either apartment that you see all over Seoul, the sort of the apartment unit, or like a villa or a single family house or so forth. So a lot of apartment consists of it's a complex. It's a multiple building and it's a very big complex. So lots of residential types in Gangnam was those apartments, but then there was need of people trying to, find a different unit type. So we stepped in sort of early to sort of meet that demand. So this was first of the building that we did. There is like a concierge service, and then the location is very heart of the city. So you get the benefit of all the convenient like shopping or cultural experience. When we first joined, met this developer and then started the business, we realized, there is a trend in the unit size as well. This whole trend and equation to be successful as a developer in Gangnam area. It started off with a smaller unit. This was sold out and then it got very good review. And then this is the second one that we did. It's at the heart of Cheongdam. The unit size got bigger. It's about 300 square meter. So this is where I want to talk about. As an architect, there is many different ways for you to express your creativity. For the projects that we work as a developer, we don't express creativity or design size like putting like a pretty facade or coming up with a really unique shape or using material differently. You have to understand the Korean code and regulation. First step is try to maximize the GFR. There is negative connotation to are you an artist, architect, or a developer? But that's where our firm identity stand out. We try to meet the reality. We try to first maximize the area that you can build in the site. And then you do pretty things, creative things. This one, we found not a loophole, but way to make the building bigger by going through this evaluation process in Seoul City. So before was this 20-story building. The site itself is very small. It's only 882. And then it was regular code. You can only build up to here. This is about 20-story. But then we found a way to make the building taller. So we made the building taller and we put 1 unit per floor. Each floor is stack of single family house on top of each other. So when you get out of the elevator, there is a hall, that's your hall. Although officially that's a public area. We try to understand the regulation and code and try to meet the area so that it is feasible project. So that's the first step that we do. After that, given the construction budget and the schedule, this is in front of the river, Han River. The undulating water and reflectivity of the water is pretty. So we try to reflect that on the building. It's a simple form with the simple material, but then since it has this diagonal angles, so depends on where you look and how you look at it, it becomes a little bit lively. This is almost complete in construction. And then this is another one. So this, you see the Han River. The site itself is more valuable than some of the other side where you don't see the river. So this one, we try to make a terrace out of it. Because you need to have some kind of selling point, I should say. You get a benefit of having your own porch in the middle of the very nice, you can enjoy the city life with this greenery. So these are sort of the series of the high-end residential units that we did. And then sort of through this project, our firm itself became stable.
How many so-called high-end residential architect in Korea.
It's a brand new field. The term itself, high-end residential, is a new term. I did like 4, there's one more going on. Just doing 4, I became an expert because I'm the early architect who joined this sort of movement. So I started to get publicity on the newspaper and so forth.
So it sounds like there's 2 issues here, business side. The young developer who sort of similar age that you can connect this sort of new group of people. And the second, that you do have something different, something new to the market. Because of your experience in a high-end hotel, it's easy for you to transform into a high-end residential. So I think this is kind of interesting shift in a way. You make your name in this industry, which is a new emerging category. Yeah. So what happened after this?
Thank God, we still have the firm and then we're growing. These are all, obviously private sector. I wanted to do public sector as well through competition. There was a hunger within me that, okay, I make money, I do this kind of like developer project, but I believe I'm a good designer. I wanted to sort of test myself whether I can participate in very like a competitive competition, public sector, and see what happens. I want to be officially be noticed as you can design as well kind of thing. So I begin to do architecture competition for museums and so forth. So the competition was held in 2022. We won the competition. We gone through all the process of DD, CD. It's a museum project. The construction will begin this year. The location is Seongnam. It's about 30 minutes south from Seoul. It's a growing city. There is a residential area for people to commute from this city to Seoul. There is also the high-tech, it's like a Silicon Valley zone within Cheongdam city. This is actually, the site itself is located in this really big park. There used to be a factory for the people who live here to make money from this factory, but then industry moved out to countryside. The factory turned into a park. The government, Seongnam city, wanted to make a museum celebrating sort of development of the city, celebrating people who devoted youth working in this site to make the city grow. Our approach was typically museums are very iconic building. Museum building itself needs to stand out. The building itself is the main character. But for this particular project, I think park had more meaning. Because park used to be a factory, people used to come here, and then those people made wealth living and they made the city rich to make this site a park. So I think the park is the main character. So we put the building sort of more quiet tone. The condition of the site was there is a big slope. This is 0. This is plus 10. We located each box within the slope. This is a slope. We strictly just followed the slope and then place this box. Most of the museum will be underground with archive. This sort of low gesture building, sort of respect the park, respect the Seongnam citizen. Roof of the building, we provided like a resting place for park visitor. What we have noticed when we visited the park was that most of it is sloped, so there's no flat area for people to sit and rest. So we provided a flat area. We designed a ramp that goes around. This is a ramp that wraps the building around. You can look at the exhibition from outside, even without entering. You can rest on the roof. The building itself doesn't stand out, but it sort of breathes or connects with the park very closely. That idea was well appreciated from the jury, and so we won a competition in 2022. There's another project. This was also a competition. We wanted to, obviously, as a firm, diversify the portfolios. The harder question that is for me to answer is, what's your specialty? I think especially in Korea, they want to categorize you in certain way. Okay, this is like a residential firm. This is, again, was a competition. It's a kindergarten that we did for Hongik University. And then the unique thing about this kindergarten is there was a high school and middle school within the site. This used to have a gymnasium for high school and middle school. What we had to do was put the gymnasium on top of the kindergarten. The site was just, there was a gymnasium, but we had to provide kindergarten on top of it. The campus itself was, the axis was already this like a rectangular 90-degree axis was we had to be very efficient using the site. So we decided to make the building very efficient, rectangular, but we wanted to also provide a space that sort of promotes creativity. You know, you go to like building kindergartens, there are classrooms, and then there's narrow corridor in the middle. But we wanted to make more meaning to that corridor, because corridor is like a third place. It could be not only for moving one place to another, function as a corridor, but it could be a playground. Classrooms are sort of very rigid because you learn things and you're students. Corridors where students can freely play around and things like that. So we made the classroom with the curve, so the negative space become the corridor. It's not just for moving from one classroom to another. It's actually for children to freely play. And we realized the kids during the break time or after school would come out to this space and then draw, like put a tape, and then they do like a squid game or like all sorts of things in this zone. So outside is square, but then inside the classrooms are curved wall, and then the negative space is all curved. So they would run along the classroom walls. And in addition to that, we provided some fun circular window. The gymnasium that is on top of this. This is the center of the corridor. This is one view, students playing within that sort of curved corridor. And then this is the view that you get into the classroom.
You start to go from the developer side. You don't want to be just a developer's architect or developer architect working with the developer, although that's the high end, always give you a good prestigious position, but you also want to do the design as the brand name of J-Partner. How you as a J-Partner branding strategy? So
Korean architecture companies are largely grouped into two. There's this like a really big architecture firm, over 1,000 employees. And then there's like a small atelier, like consists of like, it could be less than 5 or less than 10 small. So they do very artsy work. We want to be somewhere in the middle where we care about the business side, but then we also care about the artsy side of it. When I say design, it's not just making things pretty, but we think at the end, through design, the user quality will go up. It could be visual thing, it could be spatial thing. So our positioning is always sort of in the middle, and then if we see our firm going too much to one side, I want to pull it back, pull and push with the client to sort of balance and then just to stay in the middle.
It's very smart. You make that decision to be somewhere in the middle, which not too many competition comes in because you can handle both. It's a smart position to be in as a business side. So how long you been positioning yourself like this way, and how, in terms of branding, how you promote yourself?
It's been recent. I mean, this whole thing, we're talking within like a 5-year span. I returned to Korea 8 years ago. First couple of years was struggling, and then it's pretty new. So I look at like worldwide trend where our firm should go from now on to the future. And being in the middle, it could be a safer zone because you can go either way. But sometimes I look at other industry, I look at like fashion industry and then like F&B like industry. It seems like you have to pick one side and then be extreme on it. I don't have an answer for that, but it's always something that I struggle. Even like a foreign architect that we invite to Korea, is there on the very extreme side of it, like a Hedwig design. They're very like design oriented, they're very powerful. Like clothes brands, there was like Uniqlo, and then there is like, for example, like Louis Vuitton. In the middle seems like all disappear. So do I have to like be more extreme on one side to survive, or could I balance it?
How do you see KPF? Because I think KPF is a very balancing. You have the DNA in KPF. From your point, how do you see KPF?
I think they're going more on the design side. I cannot speak for them. It's been a while, but it's always sort of seeing what the trend is, where things are going, and try to be flexible. But I think in general in Korea, it's hard. It's a lot of big firms are doing many of the big projects. So the mid-size or smaller firms are hard. But I think there is hope to this like a smaller firms as well. When you have talent, when you are capable of producing high-end quality. I mean, I compare it with, there is like a really hit show in Netflix, Black White Chef. Sure. So in Korea, like those F&B market, if you see it, first, it was big, like franchise, like a foreign company like TGI Friday. They would come in, and then those were really popular. But then now, people, when they want to like really have a good meal, they look for a chef. They look for someone special. They don't go to like big franchise food. I think that trend could translate into architecture. There's certain projects for big firms and this giant, but then there's also, they want to look at like someone who has specialty like chef. So I think hope the brighter future for smaller big firms.
From the management side, if you look at KPF, there's three partners. K is doing the marketing, Peterson is doing the design, and you got F as the general manager, technical organizer, as a say partner. How is your office organized?
We are like growing firm. Before, when it was small, like I would do like multiple things like that, but now it's more of like the interior sort of managing side. My wife, she's more on that side of it, design side, and then sort of meeting the client. I'm doing two parts, so I need to find additional partner who can do like either one of them.
Strategically, you have to figure out how you're going to organize your office. 10 years from now, how many staff you want to have?
That's also like, it's been changing quite a bit. Before, I was really fixated to the number. It's like 100 people, 200 people. Because bigger your team is, bigger your firm, you get to do bigger projects. But bigger projects, it doesn't mean you're making more money. There's more money that goes out of the company. So my colleagues or like the people who went before me advised me that don't be fixated with the number. You can get in big trouble. But generally, I don't want to grow the firm. Even if I could, maybe 40 to 50 I can handle with a good partner that I have. It's more important to have quality building than a big business.
SKM office, he's running like that, 40 to 50 people, but you know, he can do big project, high-end project, but it also manageable. That's a good position to be looked at, you know, before you really go up. But I think that's important also, because when I had my own practice, I reached 15, and somehow I stuck there. And then if you don't have a vision, you're stuck in there, and then the market will go down. So if you position yourself well, you know where you're going, then there will be another driver to force you to go to that way. I think it's good that you have this vision that you are working on right now. Final question for you. Any advice for our young student who wishes become an architect?
It's not an easy job. It's not an easy career. But if you try it out first, and if you think this career is something that you could do, then I highly recommend it. I have a 8-year-old daughter. I'm not forcing her, but I would be happy if she does architecture as well. It's a very demanding career, but then it's very rewarding as well. You actually create something from nothing, and then you get a building out of it. And then once that building is complete, it could stay forever. Definitely, after you pass away and so forth. So I think if it suits you, it'll be a good career for you to carry on.
今天很谢谢这一 partner 的裴建书给我们这么无私的分享，再次感谢他。Thank you, Paul.